Do not serve these ponies. Chapter 4: The Alien. Lyra and Bonbon walked along the path of devastation. Dirt kicked up by the passage of the spaceship hung heavily in the air, making them cough and choke. Small fires burned to either side of them. Trees in the path of the crash had been obliterated, not even leaving stumps. Smoke poured from the tar fires. The weather ponies were going to have to schedule an emergency downpour to stop this from getting out of hoof. Bonbon had no idea how Lyra had gotten out of punishment for this. There was no way community service was enough. If any pony else had destroyed as much as she had tonight, they'd be banished, or imprisoned, or turned to stone, or something. Something more than a slap on the hoof and being told to clean up after yourself. Maybe she had an excuse? She remembered looking up exemptions in her paranoia-fueled investigation of the equestrian legal system. You were immune to prosecution if you were a royal, a diplomat, a senior member of the government, or a member of an intelligence agency. She looked across at the happily trotting green unicorn. Lyra, a spy? No, she was pretty sure that spies were meant to be subtle. As they neared the tar pit, Lyra had to conjure a bubble of air to stop them from choking to death on the fumes. Together, they stood on the shores of the Reichenbach and stared at the huge burning silhouette of the spaceship through the smoke. Every so often, there was a plume of fire as a bubble of swamp gas breached the surface. They just stood and watched it for a while. And then, the tar near the shore began to bubble and froth. Step by step, something began to emerge from the depths. Lyra stared in fascination, and Bonbon retreated in horror. This was it. Lyra was right. This was the human. However, it did not look like it did in the pictures. The creature was coated head to toe in Reichenbach tar, obscuring any features beyond its outline. It had the general shape of a pony, though head and shoulders taller and with 6 thin legs. The middle set of legs were misshapen and stiff. The very bottom of its 4 good legs were metallic and gleaming, so smooth that not even the tar would stick to them. The long neck led up to a strange muzzle surrounded by writhing tentacles, below a large balloon-shaped bulge. In the center of this strange spherical head was a single crazed red eye. Here and there, around the creature's neck and body, strange lights shined through the tar. Lyra did not look remotely happy with this discovery. She turned to face Bonbon and asked in a low voice, "What is it?" "It's a human?" Bonbon said. She had no idea why Lyra was asking her. "But it's not standing on 2 legs. It's got metal legs instead of hands, and it's only got 1 eye," Lyra said. She glanced across at the alien again, which was blankly taking in its surroundings. "I don't know what this is, but it's definitely not a human." "This is your specialty, Lyra," Bonbon said. "If you don't know, then I definitely don't." Lyra paused for thought. "Maybe it's a robot made by humans. That would explain the lights." The alien finally seemed to notice them and made its slow, clumsy way toward them. Its bulk heaved and stumbled over the rough stones, metal hooves clanking against the rock. It reached the 2 little ponies and gazed down at them with its single red eye. "Robot?" said Lyra. She faced up to the monster without hesitation or fear. "I command you to tell me your robot name and robot purpose." "Young filly," thought the alien in words they could hear on the inside of their skulls. Its voice was crisp, polite, and remarkably cheerful. "Do I look like a robot to you?" "Well, Lyra faltered. Bonbon wasn't sure what she'd been expecting, but was pretty sure that this wasn't it. "You've got flashing lights and metal hooves." "All a perfectly normal part of being a magical pony, my good filly. We're all magical ponies here," the alien said happily. "You just crawled from the burning wreckage of a spaceship," Bonbon said. She also resented the implication that she was a magical pony. "Actually, I live in the tar. Yep, whole life lived under the tar. I'm a tar pony, I guess you could say. Shooby-dooby-doo. thought the alien. It was starting to move around a lot more, and with more style and precision. So you fine, lovely fillies wouldn't happen to be from around these parts, would you?
Yeah, we're from Ponyville,
Bon Bon said without thinking. Ponyville? Are you saying there's an entire town full of delicious ponies? How swell is that? You even got a town nearby. We've been neighbors all this time and didn't even know it. Delicious? Bon Bon asked. Lyra had more pressing questions. You really expect us to believe that you're a tar pony and not a human? Lyra looked like she was about to grab the alien by its sticky exterior, but thought better of it. Or a human robot? Don't lie to me, robot! Honestly, I never met a human. And if I'm not a pony, then how am I speaking your language then, huh?
You're not speaking at all,
Bon Bon said. Lyra, as usual, had other things on her mind. Because we don't speak equestrian. We speak human because that's what's convenient for our secret masters. Ladies, please. We're getting off on the wrong hoof. Names, introductions, diplomatic relations. My name is Trustworthy McLegitimate. Nice to meet you. Lyra Heartstrings, said Lyra. Trustworthy McLegitimate? Bon Bon repeated in disbelief. Well, golly gee gosh, I thought I was the only one with that as a name. But I guess it isn't that uncommon after all, thought Trustworthy, taking Bon Bon's hoof with his metal one and shaking it. Us McLegitimates have to stick together.
My name's not...
Bon Bon tried to extract herself, but Trustworthy wasn't having any of it. Oh, just think about how this occurred. Thousands of years ago, half the McLegitimate family decided to live underneath the tar, and half decided to stay above. We thought you were mad, and you were. But all that bad blood and tar is finally washed away in this beautiful reunion. Trustworthy seemed quite breathless at the wonder of the moment. Stop stalling and tell us the truth, robot! Lyra demanded indignantly. Okay, tell you what. I've had a long trip here and it's late and I've been singing all day. So why don't you take me to your town and once I've settled in a bit and had a bite to eat, I'll tell you everything I know. Sound fair? How can we trust you? Lyra demanded. Bon Bon face-tuffed. Aw, you know us, McLegitimates. You can always count on us.
Lyra?
Bon Bon said. Replied Lyra. She didn't look around from glancing at the back of Trustworthy McLegitimate. Trustworthy was whistling merrily as they walked.
Do you get the feeling that this is a bad idea?
I've come this far. I'm not turning back now that I'm this close.
Are you sure? This guy doesn't seem exactly...
Bon Bon didn't want to say it.
Trustworthy.
My ears are burning, Trustworthy thought, turning around.
You have ears?
Bon Bon asked. Amidst all the tentacles on its head, she couldn't really tell. Probably. So many new things today, I haven't had the time to catalog them all. As they crested the hill that overlooked Ponyville, the first light of dawn broke over the horizon. It illuminated the shapes of the enormous storm clouds that were being maneuvered over the Everfree, like great ironclad battleships of the sky. It caught the shapes of the hills and mountains. The gold was tinted red by all the smoke in the air, but it spread across the landscape smoothly and gracefully. But then it stopped, like it ran into a wall. The light of day just couldn't penetrate the solid barrier of moonlight and shadow. The moon was still in the sky. It wasn't moving. It wasn't lowering. It wasn't making way for the day. Oh, is that meant to do that? Trustworthy asked as Lyra and Bon Bon stared at the sky in horror. No pony panic! For Celestia's sake, no pony panic! Shouted the mayor at the hall full of panicking ponies.
Nightmare Moon is back!
Cried one. She's gonna win this time for real! Screamed another.
We're never gonna see the sun again!
Wailed Rarity, who really should have known better.
Ponies, please!
The mayor banged on the podium until some measure of order established itself. We have a lot of work to do! First, let us have a moment of silence to mourn the loss of Rainbow Miriam Dash, who tragically exploded in last night's meteor shower. A few ponies fainted at this news. A few more were confused because they'd seen Rainbow Dash working on the thunderstorm earlier this morning. The mayor saw that the moment silent thing wasn't really working out, so she moved to seize the initiative while it was still available. What's more, there is no doubt that Nightmare Moon has returned. With Rainbow Dash dead, we need a new element of loyalty to replace her. Ooh, pick me, thought Trustworthy from the back of the hall. Every pony looked around, confused by the strange thought that had drifted into their heads. Some of them assumed it was one of their own thoughts and put their hooves up. In the back, Lyra and Bonbon worked together to pull Trustworthy's hoof back down. Trustworthy McLegitimate didn't exactly blend into a crowd. Not only was he massive, tentacled, and covered in tar, but he'd been squeezed into a shady-looking trench coat that didn't do nearly enough to cover his unnatural appearance. Other ponies were giving him a wide berth. I'm gonna turn the decision for who will be the next Rainbow Dash over to Ponyville's finest farmhand, Applejack. Truly, no pony knew Rainbow Dash better. The mayor, rather tastelessly, winked at the audience. Applejack gave the mayor an unappreciative glare as she came up onto the stage. Listen, I don't know what y'all have heard, but Rainbow Dash ain't dead. She's working on that thunderstorm right now. Oh, Applejack, said Roseluck in the audience. We know how hard this must be for you. No, I'm serious. If y'all just angle your head slightly to the right, you'll be able to see her out the window, Applejack went on stubbornly. We all knew how close the two of you were, Berry Punch sobbed. Applejack stared at the crowd and sighed to herself. Yeah, look, I got better things to do, she said. Then she turned and walked away. We should just let her be alone with her grief right now, said the mayor, dabbing at her eyes with a tissue. I suppose if Applejack can't bring herself to decide, eeny, meeny, miny, you are the new Rainbow Dash, she said, jabbing her hoof randomly at the crowd. Yeah! Roared Bulk Biceps. No pony objected to the decision. Now, Nightmare Moon has already burned down Twilight Sparkle's house in a fit of evil revenge, so she might be dead too, the mayor went on. In that case, we will need a new element of magic. Why did we come to this meeting again? Bonbon asked Lyra. To find out what was going on, said Lyra. I think of all your crazy plans, this one was the least grounded in reality. Well, I think this meeting is delicious and informative. There's over 60 ponies here. Trustworthy McLegitimate chipped in. I'm surprised that this many showed up, given how useless these things are, Bonbon grumbled. Oh, wow. So you're saying there's even more ponies who aren't here? Oh, you surface ponies sure are prolific. This is gonna be the best eternal night ever. Lyra, can we go? Bonbon said. Nothing's happening here, and McLegitimate is creeping me out. Wait, Lyra said, bouncing up and down to get a better view. These meetings always go the same way. The mayor wastes time, bad decisions are made, and just when you're getting bored. The doors to the hall slammed open. Royal guards poured into the hall, jostling the crowd aside and forming a corridor down the center of the hall. A red carpet rolled down to the center of the stage. A booming voice announced loudly and clearly, "Kneel before your prince, lowly commoners!" Shining Armor, captain of the Royal Guard, came into the hall, closely escorting Prince Blueblood. Blueblood was wearing elaborate golden battle armor. His march was slow and steady, eyes closed, head high, and not looking at any of the bowing peasants. The prince casually shunted the mayor out of the way. He stood atop the stage, taking a moment to let everyone just bask in the amazing that was him. And then, slowly and deliberately, he announced, "By the order of Princess Celestia, all of Equestria is now under martial law." Everything goes to Tartarus in a handbasket, Lyra finished.